March 2nd, 2026, and we're going to call this meeting to order at 6:15 p.m. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Burrow, will you do roll call, please?
Ms. Rotarius?
Here.
Mr. Wade, absent. Mr. Burns?
Here.
Mr. Burrow is here. Mr. Eckert?
Here.
Ms. Ankley?
Here.
Ms. Smith?
Here.
We have 6 members present.
Thank you. Adoption of the agenda. Are there any additions, Mrs. Von Helmer?
No.
Deletions?
No.
Amendments?
No.
Thank you. New business.
Under communications, it's our millage proposal. Just a quick statement to read. The board's finance committee met with the administrator of finance and me last Wednesday, February 25th, to review the district's long-term financial outlook and facility needs. At my invitation, RJ Naughton from PFM joined the meeting virtually and provided an overview of various financial scenarios should the district choose to pursue either a sinking fund or a smaller bond proposal in November 2026. RJ carefully outlined the projected impact, timing considerations, and potential revenue options associated with each pathway. In conclusion, it's my understanding that the Finance Committee is recommending the pursuit of a sinking fund while acknowledging that additional time is needed to further examine and determine the appropriate millage rate to suggest. The proposed sinking fund would likely be structured for 2 to 4 years with the long-term goal of pursuing a future school bond proposal to more comprehensively address our facilities.
So this is communication, so that's meaning that anybody on the board can talk. Mr. Wade had a vacation scheduled, so he was not able to switch his vacation plans for this week. So he was present at that meeting the whole time. I did speak with him at length after the meeting and over the weekend. He still feels solid with pretty much what Ms. Vaughn just said. Mr. Burns is gonna kind of say a little bit more about how everything went with finance.
Yep, sure. I mean,
Yeah.
she pretty much covered it, but,
I didn't want to step on anybody's toes, I just wanted to provide a summary, sorry.
as long as the information gets out there, I don't care.
Sure.
Yeah, RJ presented, he presented the 4-year, it's, in the year, if you looked at it, he presented the 4-year bond and all that. It'd be like a 7-year payoff. Really, I mean, as a finance committee, we discussed that with all the options and kind of everything going on, and we still really, we were all in agreement that we feel like the sinking fund is the best option at this point in time, to pursue, a good discussion of it.
So the point of right now is to give our superintendent direction as to which way we're favoring as far as a sinking fund or a bond. The finance committee will be meeting again before the work session. At that time, depending on which route we decide to shift or steer our superintendent to go with, we would be looking at timeline for as far as like years, 2-year, 4-year bond or sinking fund, and then the mills. So that would get more outlined at the next finance meeting, which would then be presented at the work session. Ms. Vaughn, if I'm wrong with anything, please correct me. And then we would have a resolution in March.
It wouldn't be in March, it would be thereafter, because we meet with Troon, we meet with Troon in April, so it'd probably come in April.
And then the resolution would be, in April. So, and that would be the timeline for the absentee voter ballots and everything else that we have to account for. So right now, if anybody wants to have open discussion or say anything,
Is 7
further
months
on the
enough?
topic?
Is 7 months enough time for this? to
For
happen?
a sinking fund, yes,
Okay.
yeah. The concern, even RJ stated, he was not sure that everything could get done with the bond with that short of a timeline,
Okay,
so.
that's good.
Mrs. Smith, and just a couple more things,
Yeah.
I was thinking of, like, in the presentation, if you guys have it, page 4 of it, there's a good comparison between sinking fund and bond, like what you can do, and then, the chart on page 7, kind of got me thinking, and like one thing with the sinking fund, right, is that it jumps up, it kind of jumps back up the first year especially. And one thing we discussed at the committee is like, we could decide to say, we don't want to exceed, say, 4%. And so maybe the first year we wouldn't get as much, but then it would grow as the other, you know, if we did 4 years, then the next 3 years would grow how much we got, but then we could kind of say like, hey, we're not exceeding 4%, or, you know, we could set that line, because, we got some feedback from surrounding districts, and, you know, at least one of them kind of goes for a consistent, like 1.25 every so often to keep that, to maintain that, and it'd be nice to get to a point where we could just have a maintenance, sinking fund on a regular cadence, but we need to get to a point, we need to catch up and then get to a point where we can do that. But it would be, that to me would be a long-term goal, would be to, you know, kind of catch up a little bit and then get to a point where we could potentially do like a, you know, like a smaller, you know, sinking fund, over time, you know, renewed over time.
I don't know about everybody got to look at the presentation that was in there, so if there was any questions, Justin or Ms. Vaughn and I would do
Yeah,
our best.
clarifying question.
It's,
Um,
you know, it doesn't have to be clarifying.
Yeah.
it's
It
just
doesn't, okay.
communication,
Yeah.
so-
I wanna make sure I'm doing the right
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, sure.
Okay.
Is there any way we can keep it at 3% when we're not increasing people's taxes?
We discussed that. The only real downside of that is like the first year, we'd only get 0.4% or 0.4 mil, whatever that works out to, you know, so yes, we can. It's just, does that give us enough? And so, like, we went back and forth on it, and I was personally, I was settled on maybe 4%, because, I mean, if you think about it, 2 years ago, we were still at 9%. And so to go, I know we're down at 3% now, but like 4% really isn't asking too much for, compared to what everybody was paying at 9%, like it's still, you know, that's just, or mills, I keep saying percent. but-
Yeah, that's one of the things that finance will look at when we
Yeah.
have our next meeting, if we went with that route.
Yeah, this decision is just, are we doing a sinking fund or a bond?
I understand.
And then, yeah,
But yeah, we did talk in depth about that, Mrs. Inkster.
yeah, those,
Just the last page of your presentation said, sinking funds are more apt to pass or bonds, if you don't raise taxes.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it was good information that he got together, and I mean, I appreciate how fast he got everything together, so.
It's just, it's sort of an awkward time, because we dropped off that cliff of 9% down to 3%, so anything we do extra now is gonna seem like we're raising taxes, but,
Yeah,
I mean,
I know, that's definitely how it's going to be perceived.
but even the, like in that chart, even the 2.5%, I mean, yeah, it jumps to 5
Right.
something, but then it starts to drop off pretty quickly. You know,
Yeah, and south.
yeah, no,
I think that's gonna be the importance of having the right message and marketing with K-12 media. They can help us with that message, so we have a better chance of getting that passed. And that's why that marketing piece is gonna be huge.
but we definitely had that in mind too. It was like, we were just kind of going back and forth on 3 or 4, or like, you know, what would be tolerable.
What's the project scope? Like, what are we hoping to accomplish? Is it still everything that you had, that was
So
highlighted?
that
I
is
believe
not
it's
even
like-
on the floor for discussion
Today,
until we
okay.
pick a route.
All right,
So
sorry.
that would, I don't wanna say wasted communication, but right now, the goal is to figure out what route we're going. And then we'll get more into the details of like what we wanna accomplish and with the monies and the mills and all of that stuff.
Okay.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Burns.
No, you're right. I was just, it made me think of something, like, again, if you look at page 4 again, the one thing I wanna make sure we're clear on is like, we never use the word maintenance in relation to these.
The what?
Maintenance, like, we never use the word maintenance in relation to these, because neither one are technically used for maintenance. Like, what we call maintenance would be repairs. You know, like, all the repairs that Jason does falls underneath that, you know, kind of in the maintenance guide, but it, like, it's,
Right,
yeah.
in here, yeah, yeah. Anything else?
That's it.
Is this something the finance committee decides on then, on the mills or, and the scope?
We'll bring a
of
recommendation.
We'll bring a
Yeah, so
recommendation.
finance will go through it even more. We may get more information from PFN as needed. And we already started on it this past week with a lot of the discussion. Then we'll digest this even more and then ask for any more information that we need. And then at the finance committee meeting, we will figure out which route we think we can bring as a recommendation.
Which we're meeting on the 16th, Monday, right before our
Yeah.
work session.
well, at the work session, Kathy, I'm sure will probably have a presentation of whatever route we go with and more explanation and why things were decided to go that way, and then, we have a vote at the meeting coming up after that.
So the project scope, the bills will all be decided by the finance committee?
The timeline, all that stuff gets decided next, yeah.
To Mr. Eckert's point, we, like, the finance committee has a project list, like, cause, you know, like, if we're talking 0.4 mils at the beginning of the first section, that's about $230,000, so like, you guys have a list of like, hey, this is what has to be done in the next two, like, we can't not
We
do
have
this.
that on the building and site committee.
I know, but I think finance is making the decision, I need to make sure that
So
finance has,
We went off of this
Yeah.
document,
Yeah.
and we
Okay.
were working off of this document, which I believe came from building and site,
Right.
partly, right? So we went off of this document, which came from building and site.
okay.
Now, with all reality, we know obviously not all,
Yeah, correct.
hardly any of each area would be able to be accomplished.
Right.
So the first step is figuring out which route we're going, setting the mills that we think will pass with the time frame of that sinking fund, and then we would work with Mrs. Vaughn to figure out what projects we can attach and put into that sinking fund.
Is the finance committee taking into account, so say you have something that's worth like $100,000, taking into account if you're accomplishing that in year 3, you're adjusting for inflation, the devaluation of the dollar?
We did talk about
You did?
that.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Thanks.
Yes, Artie did a phenomenal job. I know, like, some of it doesn't obviously translate into paper, but his present, I mean, he did a fabulous job, like, talking through the percentages and the rates and the time frames and everything like that. I mean, I was thoroughly impressed. I thought
Yep.
it was all the information.
Every question we threw at him, he had answers for, and he,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, so Mr. Wade had already went through, like, the first year, and what the second year would be, and the third year and fourth year and stuff.
Okay, awesome, and we also account for like an overrun percentage or something like that, like say, we assume something's gonna cost $100,000 in year 3, do we have a buffer on top of that?
So we didn't get into
Something
super
comes up.
specific
Okay.
yet. That night was just like hearing like the options between the bond and the sinking fund.
Okay,
So a lot of that work is gonna come after we pick a direction.
thanks.
And then I know you guys are gonna discuss this, but just to make sure that we're discussing, like, if we're going to do a bond 2 years from now, what that looks like incorporated into the mill rate when we're deciding what the sinking fund rate is gonna be, for that, cause that's gonna obviously be another jump, up if we have a larger sinking fund and a smaller bond or whatnot, but just to keep that into consideration as well.
That came up on the topic too, and that was, if you did another bond or if you did another sinking fund, so
Right, okay.
we talked about it a lot.
I can imagine, yeah.
Anybody else?
It sounds like a lot of this stuff is based upon which tasks which areas we choose to select going forward, in the finance committee. The only thing I would say is that if we choose, like, say, the water boiler or something like that, that we have an articulatable reason why we're doing that. Like, not just that they're old, that they are,
I agree.
efficiencies dropped and there's a risk here, a risk there, something like that.
Yeah.
That's the only comment I have.
well, that'd be good feedback from, like, Limbach, who's maintaining them, right? Who helps maintain them, like, they know what's going on with them, Jason knows what's going on with them.
You almost have to run the whole thing like a business case, like,
Right.
we're gonna do this, here's our payback, or whatever.
Mr. Wade had a lot of figures too that he'd already mapped out and drawn up, which was very helpful.
Yeah.
So he had
He's good
scoped
with that.
out like 10 years or something, and
Yeah, he's very good at the
Yeah.
in-depth.
so he did a really nice job with that.
And just something to keep on the board's radar, of course, that we know that Jason, is our maintenance director, as far as like some of the bigger projects that might have to be, considered. Again, working potentially like with R&E development, should be on the radar as well as we continue and make decisions.
Okay.
Yeah, not looking strapped, Jason with managing all that.
No, but when we're talking about price point, I think it's very important to consider a CM during this time, because you're gonna be looking at real numbers and what kind of money you really have to spend on projects and to prioritize them.
Okay. He is an assistant, doesn't he?
sorry.
Doesn't Jason have an assistant?
Currently, yes, yes.
Just-
Helps with some day-to-day maintenance, yes,
Okay.
through CNC cleaning.
Would we bring a CM on as soon as we decide on what direction to help plan it?
So Rob Proper from, for example, Rob Proper was here from Arnie, so he could help us with that scope, with that project scope. And, as long as we continued service, if you continued services with Arnie, there wouldn't be any payout, if you will. If you decide to go with another construction manager, if you secured a sinking fund or a bond, then there would be, a charge of $6,500, working, for the work that he performed. Yes.
Any other questions or thoughts or anything?
Thanks to everybody on finance committee for the hard work.
Thank you.
So then, is everybody comfortable with, directing the superintendent towards pursuing a sinking fund?
When you guys interviewed me, you said, speak my opinion, which I did, and I thought we had a great conversation. And then you asked, the second question is, if the majority of the board agrees with something, would you go along with it? So my answer to that is yes.
So Ms. Vaughn, at this time, we will pursue a sinking fund with more details to follow up with at the finance committee.
And there was also Jamie's opinion too, right?
Jamie is of the same opinion.
Okay.
Okay. We're gonna move on to finance. The Board of Education approves contracts over $10,000 per policy 6325. K-12 Media has presented a proposal to partner with Almont Community Schools to develop a customized marketing strategy to align with and support the district's funding goals. This contract consists of a digital content package to include one 1-minute video and 4 30-second video clips at a cost of $8,575, and a digital marketing package to include monthly social media ads, lead generation website for voter initiative, Facebook and Instagram content, and a social media setup fee at a cost of $3,924. So the total initial cost is $12,499.
Mrs. Smith? I know this is a special meeting. Are we just recommending this by committee, or are we voting for it tonight?
This is a vote.
This is a vote.
Yes.
So this is not in finance committee. This is a full board discussion, correct?
No, this is on finance, so actually, Mr. Burns, who's on finance, would make the motion that we have discussion on.
Okay.
Go me. Mrs. Smith,
Mr. Burns,
I move that the Board of Education approve the contract with K-12 Media.
Support.
motion and support, any discussion?
I had a question. What I got from it was that they were gonna do the video section, and then they were gonna manage our social media for 2 months.
That is correct, it is 2 months.
And so-
Originally, it was gonna be, is it like a monthly, price point, but they were able to embed 2 months for us.
Right, 1 month free.
Yes,
So is it the finance committee's, end goal to continue this as a social in the budget, to continue them managing, our social media, or is this like a 2-month thing and we're done?
I think we're starting out with it to see how it goes. I don't know, we didn't have further discussion, as far as then, if we would take it further. I know that like social media stuff, you can gauge and get feedback as far as how many viewers you're reaching and stuff like that, so I think we would wanna see, like, from A to Z, like how we're doing and how many people are engaging, how many likes, how many shares, stuff like that, because if you're not having many, or we're having some stuff that was similar to when we were managing ourselves, then maybe it would not be a good choice to go forward. So I think right now it would be, try it, and then look at the data,
Okay.
so.
Can I ask another question?
Yeah.
Would we want to start this after the new superintendent came on board, closer to the sinking fund? Or would we want to start this now, since we only have 2 months worth at this point?
The goal part of it is to, for our non-homestead millage, and so we want to get that messaging started. So we want to get that messaging started so that we can hopefully get the non-homestead millage passed. So we would want to start it sooner than later. and I know that content takes a while to build, so like they're not gonna be able to come in the district and have everything done like in a week. Like they gotta find the right photo, like talk to the right people and the parent, or the, students and the teachers and stuff like that. So they have to build out all that content. Like a 1 minute video is there's a lot that goes into like a whole 1 minute video. It is a lot of B-roll and A-roll and getting it all mashed together. So we would wanna start that sooner than later.
When is the budget due for the next budget? I mean, it's not included in this budget, so when are we making that
Did we get
decision?
this one here?
Yeah, so are you talking about this amount here? We did the budget amendment, it's included in our budget amendment.
Oh, for the 2 months.
And then, yes, and then plus our videos, is that what you're talking about? Oh, and then if
I'm
you wanted to
talking,
continue,
when would the next budget be?
so then, like, moving forward, that'd be our,
Yes.
is June 30th is when
Yeah.
we would be,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So we should have an idea by then.
And if we approve, or if the board approves K-12 media, then they're going to assign a project manager, and then they timestamp everything. So I can give you that information, but I did ask that very question, whether it would be, under my direction, supervision, or if it would be, an assignment for the new superintendent. It's now, because to President Smith's point, they wanna do the B-roll and get all the video while students and staff are engaged here. So they didn't wanna wait till the summertime, because nobody's here.
My
We're very
process was
limited.
being closer to the time of voting.
I
For the social-
understand.
For the social media portion.
Yeah,
Yeah.
social media. Now, that could be where, again, maybe I'll have more conversation with the project manager to see when that is, timed out, so that there's more, right, bang for your buck, closer to the November election. Yes. That's a great question.
Any other discussion?
Mrs. Smith?
Yes.
So what date would this start?
For the K-12, well, and I had a question, but I wanna make sure anybody else didn't have anything. So my thought would be, Ms. Vaughn, and obviously you'll have to have further discussion with them, is like, the 2 months, I feel like should be right before like the non-homestead, as far as like the social media and the stuff like that, unless somebody else has a different opinion.
I mean, like, I think you'd have to start it now, right? 'Cause when do we have some fees go out, like end of June?
End of June.
End of
You're
June?
talking about the 2 month social media portion?
Yes.
And that's really what Mrs. Ankley was getting at as well, was like, are we,
Like,
Gonna
I
try
would
to
think
time that
June,
more with
July
summer.
would be that 2 months of capturing, like, when they're blasting stuff on social
Right.
media, because it's right before the non-homestead.
That's too late.
So
Yeah,
They're gonna wanna do it before that.
they'll wanna start it like in April or May.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah,
I'm
they're
almost-
ready.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
probably
I
like,
mean,
Like, if this is approved, they want me to call in tomorrow.
is this, and now I must have misread the email that we got, I thought it was 2 months with the third being free, is it only 2 months?
It's 2 months.
Okay.
Mhm.
'Cause
Originally, it was
some-
only one, it was
Was
like
it-
a month.
Oh, it was only 1 month and
It
they
was
gave
only
us
1 month and he
so I
gave
saw
us the
something
next
about a
one.
1 month
Yeah, there was a
free.
little confusion, I think, with
I
like
read
the
that.
monthly, so
Okay.
I talked to him,
Okay.
and I said, hey, what can we do here? And Sean is a great, just an advocate for school districts. It's one of the reasons why I wanted to bring him to you.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
he's very much in favor of helping us out, helping the district out, and with the messaging, so he's
Right.
working with us. So
Okay.
the 2 months, if it's beyond that, that's gonna be up for
Can
up to
you
the
get
district
some-
to decide.
Okay.
Some more of that information answered for us, like as far as like timeline of when it starts, when
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
Sure, yeah,
And
as
that
soon as
would
I
be-
get the
Yeah.
project manager, I think, assigned to us, we'll be able to do the timestamp and provide that information.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. So-
Mr. Rivero, go ahead.
Yeah, I would, to your point, I would think realistically, like, 60 days probably won't be enough to evaluate this, so I would think there's gonna be more than
Right.
2
I just
months
wanted
to
include that in
accurately
the
evaluate.
budget.
Yeah, so like, it'll probably be more, especially, and I'll say it, it's like, what's not homes at about 1.5
1.5
million.
million.
Yeah, so I mean, if we spend $20,000, $30,000 to make sure we get 1.5 million after how the last votes took, I mean, I think it's well worth the spend.
Mrs. Smith,
Yeah.
do we know how much the monthly fee is for the social media?
It's like
beyond the 2 months?
3,200, right around there.
Yeah, it was whatever that form was, yeah, the work
It
session.
was, it's 3,200
A month?
a month, but for the 3,200, we're getting 2 months, so, yeah, but moving forward, it'd be 3,200 a month.
Any other questions?
but the setup fee, that was $39.24?
The setup fee is actually $724. $724.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's the 3,200 plus the setup fee.
Oh.
It's
And
together.
then 1 month, and then
Okay.
they're gonna give us
Got-
2 months instead of just 1.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, it's like 3 minutes.
Yeah, that 39.24
Okay.
includes the
Okay.
724.
Okay, that makes sense, thank you.
Any other questions or discussion?
I I guess from my discussion perspective, I would just, like, where Ms. Vaughn just said, like, hey, they want me to let you know tomorrow. I would want this to start as soon as you can possibly. I don't know if the rest of the board would agree with the 60 days, but I think
No,
that
I
this,
think
we
that's right,
gotta,
because I was
we
thinking
gotta
about
get around this.
absentee and stuff, so that makes
Yeah.
sense.
That's
So-
end of June absentee?
I would, it's 40 days before the election, so I think it would be like
Yeah.
June 25th would be when
Yeah.
absentees get mailed.
Right, right,
With our mail service, they might arrive mid-July.
yeah.
Like that.
Any other discussion? All right, there's a motion and support on the floor, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. That will bring us to questions and comments from the board. Ms. Burns. Okay, I got you had a question. Okay, you're good. Julie? No? All right. That will bring us to questions and comments from the audience. Would you have any questions or comments?
Yeah, and I didn't know what do you have from K-12 that's going to be something that someone's gonna have in their hands? I heard electronic and Facebook and so on and so forth. Over half of our voters are 55 and over and a lot of them don't do Facebook. And you're gonna have, and they're also the absentee folks that will vote 40 days prior to the election. As soon as they get that absentee ballot, they're gonna vote it and turn it in. So by, middle of June, something's gotta be out for these people to take a look at, because otherwise, they're not gonna know anything about it.
So there's plans that we've talked
I
about.
didn't
It's
hear
not
anything.
necessarily built into that price
Okay.
point, but there are plans for, messaging, so again, that could be another flyer that we get out. That's the
Yeah,
plan.
something's gotta get to the.
Hard copy.
Yeah, hard copy to the
100%.
folks
Yeah.
to take a look at early enough,
Yeah.
so that, if they've got questions, they can get back. Just since, the finance committee, which I did attend, I've, talked to at least a dozen folks, and they're all in favor of a sinking fund, and all of them but one were at 2.5. So they realize there's gonna be an increase, it could be an increase, so just, for your,
Okay.
discussion with folks when they talk about this, everybody was, willing to go with that 2.5.
Anything else?
No, not at this time. I'll save it for the next meeting.
Okay. Any future agenda items? Mr. Burrell?
Can we just make sure that this is on the docket for the work session or the regular meeting, and an update of where we're at? Like, once you, we just
For
voted to
K-12
approve.
media?
Yeah, K-12
Yeah.
media,
Yeah, I'll
like,
provide
just
an
sign off and
whatever.
give us an update.
Yep, whatever update I can give you, yes.
And what mailers might be, or what additional costs we might have,
Mhm.
how many, months they would recommend before we can evaluate their process, kind of thing, so.
Any other future agenda items?
Ms. Smith,
Mr. Burrell?
I move the Board of Education and the special meeting on March 2nd, 2026 at 6:43 PM.
Support.
Motion and support. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Thank you.